the other products that we've kind of more recently identified through the Dewis Gwyllt project is seed collection, and that's one of the things that's kind of, I think, high on a lot of people's priorities at the moment, and it's very high on the agenda, is making sure that we've got enough local provenance tree seed in Wales to grow on into the trees that we need to meet all the many targets and demands and priorities of people who really want to plant trees and increase our woodland cover. So we've kind of merged a little bit of Dewis Gwyllt funding and some Woodland Trust funding, and I noticed Laura's here today. We're working with Laura Shuring from the Woodland Trust to put a series of resources together, not only on how to collect and grow on seed for if you want to, as a business, also as a community group, and to kind of share and trade. So yeah, I'm going to hand over to Brian now, who has been putting the resources together for us. Over to you.
I'm Brian. I've been working on the Dewis Gwyllt project as part of Wild Resources, looking at non-timber forest products from Woodlands. Sorry, this presentation is not going to be quite as exciting as flying bird. No flying birds on this one, just a series of PowerPoint slides. Along with Jenny and Lucy and Maria, we've been looking at different products that can be harvested from woodlands, and as Maria said, we've been looking at birch. We've also been looking at other things like elderflower, elderberries perhaps, and wild garlic in previous years. The most recent thing we've been looking at is the collection of tree seed, which is mainly been looking at collecting native broadleaves, not been so involved with looking at conifers, but so it's mainly native broadleaves growing in Wales. And we produced 5 short guidance or information notes, which hopefully should be up on the Llais y Goedwig website next week. Not quite available yet, but hopefully they'll be up there for people to check and be able to see those next week. So there's 5 notes that we've produced: collecting tree seed for your own use, collecting tree seed to sell, make a bit of money as a registered trader, collecting tree seed for direct trading, if you think you can find enough customers to buy the seed directly or grow the seed on in a nursery. And then got the information note on actually setting up a small scale tree nursery for those who've not done that before. And then finally, we've looked at the legal obligations when collecting tree seed. So the first note that we produced, collecting tree seed just for your own use, basically just covers the best practice of how and when to collect the seeds, and lots of sort of background information on how you should do it. At the end of each note, there's a link to useful resource materials as well, lots of online links that people can follow and find a lot more information. And at the end of this one, there's also a very short discussion of what we should be planting in terms of native or local provenance or local origin seed. It's a lot of discussion about it at the moment with regards to climate change and whether we perhaps should be changing what we'd normally be doing, which is just planting local provenance. The next one is the next note is collecting tree seed to sell to a registered trader. This is for people who are interested in collecting seed on a contract basis for companies such as Myla Forest Nurseries based near Wrexham, and Forstart, who specialise in tree seed, who are based near Shrewsbury. They're the 2 main companies I think people probably in Wales would probably be involved with. And they often hire collectors when they're short of seed and they need to get extra amounts of seed. They'll take on extra people to send seed to them. So the note just summarises what they ask for in terms of supplying the seed to them, and there's also an indication of the basic prices that they're willing to pay. The next note, the third one, is collecting tree seed for direct trading, which is a bit more complicated because tree seed is governed by the forest reproductive materials regulations, so it's a bit more difficult. But if you wanted to sell seed directly, it's possible. And even if you want to collect seed and then grow it on a nursery, you still have to follow the FRM regulations. So it's something to be aware of, and we discuss that in the notes. The fourth note is that on how to set up a small-scale tree nursery for absolute beginners. Follows on from the last one, really. There's so much information you need for this. It could easily be an entire book, but we've summarised some basic background materials and put some useful hints on what you should be doing and what you should be thinking about, and some pointers towards resource materials, again, for people who have not grown trees, or certainly not grown trees to any large extent before. And the last one is just a general information note about the legal obligations. As I said, marketing tree seed is regulated by the Forest Reproductive Materials regulations. Again, if you're just collecting seed and planting them for yourself, these don't apply. It's only for people who are actually marketing the seed. So it's important that you know what the rules are, so you can follow them and do everything above board. So I said, yeah, all the notes should be available up on the Llais y Goedwig website next week. We put some sort of reading lists at the end of each note, but really there's not so much out there, really. We've not found a perfect book that covers everything as far as tree seed collection goes, or even setting up nurseries. There's a couple of books I'd really recommend if you haven't seen them before. The first one is called The Good Seed Guide, produced by the Tree Council. Very cheap, it's only about £4 a copy, and you can order that online. It's pretty basic, but there's lots of interesting information there, and well worth a £4. And the other resource, which is I'd really recommend, is the TCV handbook series called Tree Planting and Aftercare. Learn everything there is to know about planting trees and looking after them. This is online. You can order a paper copy, but it's a lot easier just to see it online and subscribe to TCV. TCV used to be called BTCV, but it's the TCV handbooks now. There's a section in there if you're thinking about setting up a tree nursery, called Propagation, which is really comprehensive. It covers everything from seed collection all the way through to planting out. So I said the easiest way to subscribe to the TCV to access the handbooks. They offer a discount to what we call community network members. So hopefully, I'm not sure whether Maria's sorted this out yet, but Llais y Goedwig might be able to help with the discount. But the subscription is very cheap anyway, and they produce lots and lots of different handbooks on all sorts of different activities with woodland managers might be involved with. So I really recommend that. So that's pretty much all about the guides. Have a look next week when you see them on the website. Thanks. Back to Lucy.
Thanks ever so much, Brian, Jenny and Kai. That was fantastic. I'm now just going to run through what we've got coming up at the Dewis Gwyllt project and ways that you can hopefully get involved with us. So I will skip through the seed collection section, although I do just need to say that we were initially looking at setting up a trading trial this year, but we're going to kind of deliver this next year now. We've got plenty of time to plan. All the guides will be up and available in the next week, so they'll be there. We'll make sure that you're all aware once they've been uploaded. And we're hoping, we've got around about 40 people that have expressed an interest in joining the trial next year. So we're hoping to get that off the ground in the autumn, probably late summer. So again, birch syrup, I think that's all been covered. The guides will be available soon, and we've got the ARP project coming up. We have a little bit more research to do looking at wild garlic. There'll be some resources made available again on our website, and we'll notify you when they've been put up there. We do have a training course coming up, and that's funded by FFF, which I think is Focus on Forestry First. So the title of that is Uncovering Hidden Opportunities, and it's very much about you getting out into the woodland, having a look around with the support of Jenny and Brian, and looking at potential products. So that's a 2-day kind of overnight course, more details to follow. In spring and summer, we're also looking to set up an elderflower trading trial. So anyone who's interested in picking elderflower and having a go at selling it, we do have a couple of companies that are interested in specifically buying Welsh sustainably sourced elderflower. So we're hoping to work with them in the spring. So do let me know. My contact details will appear after this slide. We are also experimenting with a new piece of kit. It's a steam distillation kit, so that we can produce some essential oils. So hopefully in the spring and summer, we'll get to grips with that, and we'll be able to produce a short user guide, which then you can take away if you're coming to Woodland Group and have a go and experiment with if you so desire. We are also hoping to hold advice surgeries with Jenny and Brian at Wild Resources Ltd to look at identifying woodland products and sustainable harvesting techniques. So if there are a few of you that are interested in having a one-to-one, we can set up a Zoom session for you, so do get in touch with me. And the other area of work is the kind of marketplace for wild woodland products. We're interested to know what you make and sell, and there's a session coming up on that in our afternoon event, so do stay tuned for that. So here are my contact details. If anything appears, or if you've got any more questions, please get in touch.